A fantastic trait of successful traders is the desire and the motivation to look to continually learn more about the markets and improve their trading abilities. One of the best ways of doing this is reading books discussing successful traders, mistakes and successes that they've had, and reading more about the markets and different trading philosophies and systems. I highly recommend for any up and coming traders and any existing traders to adapt reading into their knowledge and education. And today we'll be discussing my top 5 books that I'd highly recommend for anyone looking to trade any markets. What is going on, guys? It's Thomas here, and today we'll be discussing my top 5 trading books that I highly recommend to any traders. Now, every trader should be reading to some extent to be able to improve their trading abilities. You can't keep stagnant when you're looking to learn to trade. You need to be able to continually improve your abilities and learn more about the markets. The markets will never be mastered, however, you should be striving to continuously improve, and one of the best ways to do this is by reading books. Now, reading books gives you an insight into the minds of successful and unsuccessful traders and be able to learn from their mistakes and learn what made them a successful trader. Now, today we'll be discussing my top 5 books that I'd highly recommend for any trader. Now, the link for all of these books will be down in the description below, and if you haven't read these before, I highly recommend that you give them a look through. Now, I'll be going through these books from my number 5 pick down through to my best trading book in my opinion. Again, these are just my opinion. Other people's opinions may be different, but these are the top 5 books that I've read multiple times, and I highly recommend that you add to your reading log. Alrighty guys, so book number 1, I've got the Trading Log by Ryan Jones, which is that one right there. This book mainly discusses money management. Now, in my opinion, one thing that isn't discussed enough in the trading world is risk management and successfully managing your money. It's one of the most essential parts of being able to take more profits out of the market and ensure that you can minimize your risk. Now, this book discusses multiple money management methods and discusses Ryan's fixed ratio money management idea. Now, this is the money management technique which I personally use, and that's why I'd highly recommend this book. He discusses multiple different methods and different ways to potentially manage your money and manage your risk. And the reason why it's such an important part of the trading journey is, in my opinion, traders should look at themselves as a risk manager rather than a trader. Now, when you're managing money and when you're trading money and other people's money, you're really managing risk. You need to understand the best ways to manage risk and the best ways to maximize your profit when you're on a winning streak as well. Now, Ryan's method discusses this in high detail. It gives great examples into how to manage money using his method and using other methods as well. And I'd highly recommend for any existing trader or any trader new in the markets to give this book a read. Alrighty, so my pick number 4 is Reminiscence of a Stock Operator by Edwin Lefebvre. We'll stick it at that. Anyways, this book is basically a first-person depiction of one of the best traders of all time, one of the most renowned traders, Jesse Livermore. Now, Jesse was an OG trader. He's a trader back in the 1920s, so obviously the trading styles and the way that traders trade these days is completely different but to back then, but it gives great insights into one of the greatest minds in the trading world. Now, this isn't actually Jesse's book, it is a depiction from Edwin in regards to Jesse's trading abilities and his upbringing and how he became such a successful trader, and it's a great insight into one of the best trading minds. Now, it obviously isn't a complete depiction because it isn't from himself, but I highly recommend this read. Lots of great insights into different ways to be able to trade and different ways to be able to take profits from the market. This wasn't a book that I took a lot of notes out of, like the other books that we'll be going through later on. However, it is a book that I highly recommend. It's a very motivating book. It's a book which I read through pretty fast as well, just because it created some great insights and had some great stories about different ways that Jesse became a successful trader. Alrighty, now it was very hard to split my top 3 books. These are 3 books which I've read multiple times each. They're fantastic, and the 3 books that I highly recommend for any trader. If you were to pick any books out of this list, you must read these 3 books that give a great insight into how to trade the markets, into trading psychology, and into the minds of some of the greatest successful traders around. Now, my 3rd pick, which I chose, was Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Now, Trading in the Zone was a trading psychology book written by the late Mark Douglas. He has a great series of trading books. However, in my opinion, Trading in the Zone is the best of the books. And now, like I always say, trading psychology is the most important part of your trading journey. Now, trading psychology is essential for any successful trader. Being able to control your emotions is extremely important into becoming a successful and a profitable trader. Now, in this book, Mark discusses different mechanisms to be able to control your emotions, different ways to view the markets and the perspective which you have on the actual markets, and how important that perspective is to becoming a successful trader. Now, he defines in the book the zone. Now, the zone is the mindset which you have coming into trading. Having that open mindset and understanding that the market is just giving you information, and it's not positive or negative, it's neutral information, and it's the way that you depict the information which is extremely important into being able to control your emotions and removing the emotions from your trading. Now, another great point which I took out of the book is that you need to be able to take every trade independently. Every trade you take is independent from another trade. So if you are in a losing streak or you are in a winning streak, it's just important that the next trade that you take follows your system, follows your rules, and you need to treat it independent to the results of previous trades. Now, it's just like if you go to the casino and you sit at the roulette table and you walk up to a table and you see, 5 or 6 red in a row, and you think, the next one has to be black. Now, but in reality, the probabilities depict that the next roll is going to be completely independent to what results are up on the board. Those results are up on the board to be able to attract the emotions of customers and try to bring them to the table and try to fight against the red run that's currently on. Now, this can be exactly taken over the trading. If you understand your profitability, your win ratio for each individual trade, if you are on a losing streak, it doesn't mean that you're going to continue to lose or the next trader is going to be a win, and vice versa. If you're on a winning streak, you need to be able to take that next trade independent of other trades. And if you come into trading with this mindset and you trade in the zone and you take each trade independently, your results and your trading ability shouldn't be depicted by your emotions. You should be able to remove those emotions from your trading and be able to trade successfully and trade to your plan. Alrighty, so my runner-up book is One Good Trade by Mike Bellafiore. Now, this is one of the best reads that I've read. I've read this book now 3 times. It's fantastic. And what this book discusses is basically an insight into the life of a proprietary trading firm. Now, a prop firm is basically a firm where a pool of investors will pool money together and then hire traders to trade their money on their behalf. Now, the prop firm in discussion is S&B Capital, and this is a prop firm which Mike himself founded. Now, the book is basically a discussion of Mike of how he runs his firm, the different traders within his firm, and his opinion on how to become a successful trader. Now, Mike is one of the all-time great traders. He's been around for a long, long time, and he's done some fantastic traders which have come through his firm. Now, Mike just gives a great insight. It's a great book into how to become a successful trader, and one of his philosophies which he discusses is the one good trade philosophy. Now, I have discussed this before in videos, but basically the one good trade philosophy is that the whole idea of becoming a successful trader is continuing to make one good trade after one good trade. Now, he defines one good trade as a trade which follows your plan and which follows your system. Now, it doesn't matter if the trade is a winning or a losing trade. If you're entering into one good trade after another good trade after another good trade, and you understand that your trading system is profitable, then that result of each individual trade doesn't really matter. You've got the edge in your hand, just like the casino does, and over the long term, that system is going to be profitable. So stop focusing on whether the trade's a winning or a losing trade. Focus on entering into trades which are good trades. Alright, so there is a couple of honourable mentions which I'll quickly just go through as well, just to add to your reading list. But number 1 is The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas, same guy that read Trading in the Zone, great book. Next one is Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom by Van K. Tharp. This is another trading psychology book, very great in-depth into trading psychology and different mechanisms to be able to control your emotions. Next one is Hedge Fund Market Wizards. Now, this discusses multiple interviews with Jack Swagger and hedge fund managers. Another great insight into the minds of some of the most successful traders around. And the one I just missed out, my number 6 pick, would have been Pitbull by Marty Swartz. Now, this is another great book by one of the characters of Wall Street, another great trader with some awesome, interesting stories. Alrighty, guys, so my number 1 pick is Market Wizards by Jack Swagger, which is this one here. It's one book that a lot of traders will recommend, and it basically just gives an insight into the minds of some of the most successful traders. Now, like I said earlier, one of the best ways to learn and improve is to learn from the mistakes and successes of other successful traders. Now, this book is a series of interviews of some of the most successful traders. Now, some of the traders mentioned in here are the likes of Paul Tudor Jones, you've got Marty Schwartz, you've got Richard Dennis, the Turtle Trader. Now, this book just gives fantastic insight into some of the minds, the great minds of the trading world. And the thing that I mostly took from this book is the fact that there's just so many multiple ways to be able to take profits from the market. There isn't just one way that you have to trade. There are so many different ways. You've got people in this book which discuss trading on fundamentals. You've got people that discuss trading on technicals, and you've even got people that discuss trading on astrology, and just so many different quirky ways to be able to trade the markets. And it's extremely important to understand that there isn't one way to trade. There are so many different ways to be able to take profits from the market. It's just a matter of being consistent, writing out a plan, and sticking to your system. Now, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. There's my top 5 books that I'd highly recommend to anyone in the trading world, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an expert trader. It's 5 books that I'd highly recommend that you give a look through. The links for all these will be down in the description below. Thank you again for tuning in. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure you destroy the like button below, hit subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time.